Hey, what's up everyone? It's Coach Damon here, and in this video, I want to answer an interesting question I got from a young lacrosse goalie, okay? So I sent out a survey to my list, to my audience, and I said, talking about the mental game, and I said, what is the number one question or challenge that you're having with the mental game? And a young goalie wrote in this. Let me read the question. Number one question or challenge he's having, what are the different offensive sets and what are the tendencies? What is the offense trying to do? So that is a great question, but let's get one thing perfectly clear. That is not the mental game, right? The mental game, when we talk about, mental game and mental toughness, it's this big umbrella, and I think a lot of people tend to put challenges into that. Oh, I'm struggling with the mental game. I'm struggling with this. I need to improve my mental game. And when a goalie tells me I want to improve the mental game, there's no way you can give advice based on that information, right? You need to dig in and understand what part of the mental game they're struggling with so you can give them some very specific advice. But when we talk about, different offensive sets and what are offenses trying to do in those sets, very, very important, right? But not the mental game, all right? So let me address that question of, what are the different offensive sets and what are the tendencies, okay? Now, different offensive sets. There's only a finite number of offensive sets that we see in lacrosse, okay? And the way that I was taught is we call those offensive sets starting with the number of players that the offense has behind the goal. So they have one attackman behind the goal and then three offensive players and then two up top. That would be called a 1-3-2, okay? So I know some coaches do it the other way. They would call that a 2-3-1, starting with the number of players up top. But I was always taught it starts with the number of players behind, so that's what we'll go with, all right? So you've got the 1-3-2. That's a set. You've got a 2-2-2 with two offensive players behind the goal, okay? You've got a 2-3-1, two offensive players behind the goal, then three, then one up top, all right? You've got a circle or a wheel formation, okay? 1-4-1, that's another one, 1-4-1. Another offensive set I've seen is a 2-1-3, not as common. I don't see this as much, but you got two attackmen behind, one attackman in front of the goal, and then three middies up top. Maybe in a man-up, you might see a 3-3. A 3-3 where everyone, nobody's behind the goal. I actually wrote a pretty good article, at least I think it's pretty good anyways, detailing all of the different offensive sets and then some of the pros and some of the cons out of each one of those offensive sets. And I'll link to that down below if you want to check out that article. It's a longer read, but it's full of great information. That's really all of the different offensive sets, okay? So really, as a goalie, when I see an offensive set, you should be able to identify what they're in. You should call that out to your team so your team knows what they're in. And then it's about the second part of your question is what are the tendencies out of each one of those sets? Like what is an offense trying to do? And to me, to answer that question, it's about watching lacrosse, okay? It's about increasing what we call your Lacrosse IQ, and that is just your knowledge of the game. And how do you do that? You watch lacrosse. Kids these days, I played back in 1999, college. In 1999, I graduated in 2003. YouTube was not a thing. Instagram was not a thing. There just wasn't this wealth of lacrosse video that there is now. So you should feel very fortunate about that and take advantage of that, okay? So go out to YouTube, right? There's full lacrosse games on YouTube. I don't know if they're legal, but I'm not complaining. There's full lacrosse games. You can watch lacrosse, and when you watch those games, recognize what offensive set they're in, okay? And recognize what they're trying to do. There's other channels that I'll call out. Patrick from Powlax has a great channel breaking down offensive sets and different plays that offenses can run, different screens, different ideas, different two-man game, and different things that you can watch and understand. Then as a goalie, that's what the offense is trying to do. It will help you tremendously as a goalie, not only to, read the play and anticipate where the shots are going to come from, but then to communicate that out to your defense so you can be a great communicator inside the crease and for your defensive team, okay? So Powlax is a great channel. If you want to go the paid route, laxfilmstudy.com, run by Adam Gittleman, a goalie, and that is a great resource of a lot of older games, a lot of current games, just a lot of lacrosse content that you can use to up your lacrosse IQ. So study, watch lacrosse, be a lax rat. There's a reason I call my site the Lax Goalie Rat, is because that's what we need to be. Not only a lax rat, somebody who's always just eating, breathing, sleeping lacrosse. As much as you can, watch those games, recognize what sets they're in, and then recognize where the shots are coming from, where the screens are coming from, where the dodges are coming from, and you're really going to start to understand, what are the offensive sets and what are their tendencies. All right, so that is my advice for that one. Remember, there's a lot that goes into the mental game, but understanding what offensive sets are and what they're trying to do, that's not the mental game. That's something we can learn by increasing our lacrosse IQ and watching tape. Hope that helps. Take care.